So this is a training video on how to enter and exit the parking lot at Calvary Christian School. I put this video on our parking lot traffic flow together so that we can keep our children safe and prevent any accidents as we drop off our children for school and pick them up after school. You will notice on this overhead diagram of the parking lot that there are two entrances to the parking lot from Scott Street. Whatever entrance you use, you should either be going straight to your parking spot or turning into the access lane to choose the parking lane you want to use to get to your parking spot. There should be no driving across parking spaces either upon entry or exit. Before you enter the parking area from Scott Street, you should already have in mind where you are going to park. As you enter the parking area, you will be going straight and proceeding to your parking spot, or you will be turning into the access lane to get to the parking lane that you will use to get to your parking spot. You will not be crossing over any parking spaces as you make your way to your parking spot. Upon leaving your parking spot, you will be driving back toward the access lane and turning right to exit right and turning left to exit left. You will not be crossing over any parking spaces to make your exit. There are times when the access lane is congested or is not accessible because of snow. In those cases, please make your way toward your parking spots and exits as carefully as possible without any drastic crossing of traffic lanes. You will also notice that there is no parking along the east fence because that area has a lot of foot and car traffic. There is also no vehicle access or parking in front of the school, so please do not drive into this area. Please drive slowly and carefully and watch for cars and children. Here are a few videos to show how you enter and exit the parking area and how not to cross over parking spaces to get to your parking space. Here is an excellent example of coming in from Scott Street, entering into the access lane, and then picking a parking lane and proceeding to a parking spot. Notice that this vehicle is not crossing over any parking spaces. In this demo, I am driving more quickly than I should, so please drive slowly and cautiously. Here was someone who has come in from the other Scott Street entrance and has entered the access lane and then turned into their parking lane to reach their parking spot. In this way, traffic can be flowing without cars crisscrossing traffic. Here is an example of entering from Scott Street and driving straight rather than into the access lane and finding a parking space along that parking lane. The same procedure would take place from the other entrance from Scott Street, driving straight and then finding a proper parking place from that lane. Here is an entrance we do not want to see. Instead of using the parking lane, This person is crossing over parking spaces in a diagonal way and will cause some traffic problems for others. Here's another very common problem moving from one parking space to the next, crossing over parking lanes and really going against the flow of traffic. So we want to discourage that as much as possible. Here is an excellent example of properly exiting through the access lane and then turning right to exit right. So using the lane, not crossing over parking spaces, going to the access lane, turning right, and then because they're going to be turning right on Scott Street. And here's an example of exiting left on Scott Street. Same procedure, down the parking lane to the access lane, and then in this case turning left because they want to exit left on Scott Street. So again, traffic flow parallel parking lanes, no crossing over parking spaces, and the flow is consistent for everyone. And then finally here, an example of not exiting properly, going across lanes, and of course disrupting the flow of traffic by doing that as well. So try to follow the rules, and let's stay safe in our entrance and exit to our parking lot. So please follow the rules. Try to be consistent. Be alert for vehicles. Watch for children. Drive slowly. Be patient. And let's be safe. Thank you.